All right, so I think this is recording. Let's take a look at these three absolute value equations. In each case, you want to always, get the absolute value by itself. They'll often say isolate the absolute value. So here in problem 7, we're going to divide both sides of this equation by -10. And a +10 divided by a -10 is -1. And we've got a problem because absolute value, you can think of it as the distance on the number line from the number 0, and distance is never negative. The absolute value of a real number is always going to be 0 or positive. It will never be negative. This equation has no solution. There's no real number that you could substitute into this equation to make this a true statement. All right, let's take a look at number 8. And the same thing, we want to isolate this absolute value. Let's divide both sides of this equation by 6. 72 divided by 6, I think, is 12. Now this splits into two equations, that 4x equals -12 or 4x equals +12. Divide both sides for each of these equations by 4, and we get -3 and +3. All right. In problem number 9, we see that on the left-hand side there's two terms. The first term is the term of interest. It has the absolute value. So we have the absolute value of 5 minus x. Well, we're going to add 1 to each side of this equation. And now that we've got the absolute value by itself, this splits into two equations. Let's subtract 5 from each side. Don't lose the negative sign that's in front of x. If the opposite of x is -12, then x has to be +12. You can see that easily by just multiplying both sides by -1. If the opposite of x is +2, then x has to be -2. And here's our two solutions for problem number 9. Don't be afraid to ask questions if you need to. Hope this helps, and I will talk to you later.